Good afternoon, folks. Thanks for joining us. This is Tim Wheaton with the Calf Kick Sports Podcast, joined by Ash, and we're lucky today to have such a great guest in professional fighter Josh Augustine. He's a veteran who's fought in Titan FC, LFA, and Nemesis Fighting Alliance. Josh, thanks so much for your time today. How's everything there, sir?
Excellent. Life is good. Thank you guys for having me on.
How you been anyway, Josh, man? How's training? How's life?
Good, man. I am 8 weeks post-op. I had hip labral surgery. So I am just rehabbing my hip back, and now I am entering phase 3 of my rehab, where I'm now basically just conditioning my body and trying to work back to get into fight shape and get back in there.
Holy shit. So wait, tell us what happened. Was this a hip injury brought on from training, or was this something from when you were younger? What happened here?
Yeah, I had just a training injury, just working really hard with my boxing coach. And it probably was something that I've had for multiple years. I've had a few back injuries in my past, and just rotating on the feet all the time and constantly working my footwork and stuff. I just started having a little bit of pain in my back, and I thought it was one of my old issues, and ended up finding out that it was a torn labrum. So we got that fixed up, and they ended up shaving down my femoral head as well. So it was a little large, so it didn't fit quite 100% in my pelvis. And that's just something I was born with. So I should actually be more flexible and have more mobility in my hips now.
Dude, that's
awesome, man.
Yeah, that's serious though. So like now that you're recovering, how has training been? Do you feel any different? Does it still have some lingering issues? Like obviously how is kicking? That's one of your specialties, but also how's like rolling in jiu-jitsu, if I may ask?
I actually am not 100% cleared by the doctor. So I've just been doing just rehab work on my legs. And I have an upper body program that I'm working with my strength conditioning coach, Jesse Conaway. Really one of the best, most underrated guys that people don't know about yet, but definitely will here in the near future. He does my diet, strength conditioning, everything. Mm-hmm. He's a genius. So I'm doing all my upper body stuff with him, my rehab stuff with Athletico, physical therapy here in St. Louis. They have a really great facility, work with all the other professional athletes here, like the Blues and the Cardinals. And now I'm just starting to work my boxing, footwork drills, and just fundamental stuff like that. So I haven't done too much jiu-jitsu or kicking yet. I don't want to compromise my hip flexor. That's the number one thing that I don't want to hurt right now that will set me back. So I have about 3 more weeks till I see the doctor again. And we're the physical therapist and I are pretty confident that I'll be 100% cleared to get back to kicking, rolling, sparring, all that stuff.
So you're looking at a return potentially later in the year, I'm assuming. What's July now?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Early next year.
Yeah. No, I was thinking hopefully October, November. I got some offers from another promotion here in St. Louis for December 5th.
I'll give 1 sec there. We're getting Skyped a little bit here.
It's all right. That's the magic of editing after.
Yeah. If you can hear us, just go ahead. Wait, you know what we'll do? I'll turn off the camera. Ash, turn off your camera.
Yeah, let's
Josh,
turn the camera off.
Turn off your camera, and then that way it's a little bit less. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead and tell us a little bit more about when we can expect to see you back.
Yeah. So I got a offer December 5th here in St. Louis. So I'm not sure. We're waiting out to see options. Maybe if something comes through with Titan or LFA or something, it's a good matchup for where my trajectory is, my career. Then we'll make that deal. I've definitely made decisions based off of trying to, make things happen to get to the biggest show possible in a timely manner versus doing it how like professional boxers do it, where they do everything around them and making sure they have a perfect record. So that's more what I'm looking for until I get paid going forward for a little bit. But, as opportunities come, they will.
I mean,
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your fight history as well, Josh, man. I mean, I love your style, man. You're there to finish fights, which is great. And literally, I think all the fights that I've seen you in just been very exciting. I believe the first one I actually saw this morning, you landed at such a nasty body kick. So yeah, I'm super excited to kind of just see all your fights in the future.
100%. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I mean that's my thing is I just want to fight how I enjoy watching fighting. Yeah, I want to be a fan of myself first and foremost, and I think it's so exciting watching a dynamic striker, someone being elusive and dangerous, still has power. I'm a huge boxing fan, so I just like to implement stuff that I think is really cool and stuff that I love to do.
It's
fun.
extremely cerebral, honestly.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I've had some really awesome coaches that really I can only accredit that to. It's all a byproduct of the work that I put in over time.
Nice. And I can see some different influences when I watch you strike. Like I can see a little bit of Lyoto Machida, a little bit of McGregor, a little bit of even Shogun in there. Who do you, for mixed martial arts, like who do you look up to as like, I want to strike like that guy?
I think whenever I was younger, I was really into TJ Dillashaw, and I actually went out to Denver and started training at Muscle Farm with him and Sandahagen and Josh Wick and all those guys.
What? Tell us more.
That's crazy, man.
Oh, yeah. So I trained with all those guys for about 9 months leading up. I was there for TJ's camp with Lineker and Sun Sao. And then he was going out to LA, and it kind of looked like the team was sort of disbanding. And it was, you had to go to so many different gyms, and there were so many different fees, and rent was really expensive in Denver, obviously. And I'm just trying to, get by and pay my gym fees. And it was honestly slowing down my development. Having just a close-knit team that I've had next to me since I've been 15 years old it's huge, just to have, someone gardening 10 flowers versus 200.
Yeah, that makes sense, because you don't have that that individual kind of mentoring, someone to kind of look at you specifically as a fighter, rather than, if you in a bigger group, it's almost like a one glove fits all kind of training, I'm assuming.
100%. Well, I mean, out there in Denver, a lot of it was honestly catered to TJ, Magny, Matt Brown. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. They're the guys that were paying the bills and paying the coaches' bills. So I 100% understand that. But for me, it wasn't benefiting me the way I thought that it would whenever I originally went out there. So I really realized my biggest lesson out there was that everything that I was doing here in St. Louis, here at St. Charles MMA, was everything that all the world champions and all the guys that I looked up to were already doing. But as far as the striking, Conor has been a huge influence on me. I love Conor McGregor. I'm a big, like I said, big boxing fan. I love Floyd, Canelo. Man, 135 is hot right now. Everybody loves Lomachenko, I think. Teofimo Lopez, Haney. I love all those guys, Gervonta. So, they're all slight influences on me. I'm just a huge fan, like I said.
Yeah, just a huge fan of striking arts, and it absolutely shows when we watch you fight. Now, I wanted to ask you, training with TJ Dillashaw, he's one of the best strikers in the history of MMA, absolutely. And there's been a lot of stories with him with gym wars. Is that a true thing, or are you not at liberty to tell us?
Oh, I don't mind at all. Yeah, I mean, he definitely handpicked his partners to where he could be a little more aggressive with guys like that. He's not going to do that with someone that is a little bit bigger than him, someone that could actually put him in his place. He wouldn't, he doesn't do that in those cases.
Interesting. And I just want to also ask you, you had on record a couple of fights in 2012. How old were you in 2012?
I was 18, so I was still in high school for my first couple of fights.
Damn.
Yeah, it was cool.
And how did that feel? That obviously, like, the first ever fight, barely 18. I mean, that must have been a crazy experience, man. Fighting that young. The only thing I can think of as an example is like Rory McDonald, man, fighting at 16.
Yeah, I had my first kickboxing fight, I think, whenever I was 16 as well. And I got my ass whooped. So it was disappointing. I was like really excited to go out there and do a cage fight. I didn't even really know what I was getting myself into at the time. I was just a kid, and I stumbled into a gym, and I was, I knew I was picking it up pretty quick, and they told me it was time to compete. So I competed, and I just figured I'd do well because, most of my family are all like really, really good athletes and like other sports, like traditional American sports, basketball, football, baseball. And so I figured I'd do really well. And whenever I lost, in front of all my family, in front of my friends and stuff, it's a real check. And then you figure out if you want to do it for real and like really figure out how to fight, or you kind of find a way out from what I've seen. And I love it. So, I just started getting better and better. And then over time, it just becomes a whole thing.
Dude, yeah, losing. I lost my first amateur boxing fight as well. And like to lose and then pick yourself up from there, it's actually a really hard thing to do. And even though like you're a young guy, you got to think like these fights don't matter, but that doesn't help you. You know what I mean? Like you really does take determination to pick yourself up and keep moving on. And now clearly you've had a successful career since then. Yes.
100%, 100%. I mean, the early days really were most of my losses. So like looking back at those amateur days, now I find myself telling amateurs those same things, like you're saying, like, hey, it doesn't even matter. This is just learning experience. But I can remember being in those days where it's just everything to you. And, you know, other people's opinions and like little comments are really picking at you because you really just care so much. Ultimately, you really want to be good at it, but it is what it is. Like Papa Steve says, ball don't lie. It is what it is.
Did you feel like it was a very much a humbling experience? Because, you know, when you first start off, this is the assumption with a lot of people. They're just there to basically knock someone out. You know, they're not expecting to get hit back or even potentially lose. Did you feel like that definitely helped, you know, that kind of attitude and that humbling mentality?
Well, for me, it was more a competitive thing. So whenever I lost, I was like, oh, I'm never going to lose again. Where then I started to just mold myself in the fashion of, like I was saying earlier, I just wanted to mold my game into what I like to see versus like just being a cookie cutter for my gym. So at that point, you know, I started to become more dangerous and like finish people and like really, really hurt people. But I never understood like the consequences of it on being the other side of it until I got TKO'd my last fight. And that one was very humbling. That one was a real eye-opening experience to like what really is going on and how far, how deep, even though you've seen it a million times, even though we've all watched Rory and Robbie Lawler kill each other, you know what I mean? Like until you break your leg in a fight and you got to fly home coach, you know, with no damn shoe on, looking like a Hoosier and like no one knows you, then that's whenever it sets in.
No, and it's especially tough when you get some guy like you fought Muhammadan Nymoth. No one knows how good this guy was, and he shows up and he's probably like the next Habib kind of thing, you know, and you're fighting him, you know what I mean?
Right. No, I mean, that's what I was told going into the fight, is that he was a really highly touted guy. And I went back and watched his tapes, and I thought that I was going to knock him out like really easy, honestly. I knew he had good kicks. I knew he had good taekwondo, and it looked like he had decent grappling. But we didn't even test the grappling. And honestly, I would have liked to going back. I mean, I work with Olympic silver medalist, wrestling coach, and my background is jiu-jitsu. So I wish, obviously, I would have taken it a little farther, but it is what it is. He's a good fighter. I wish him nothing but the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you lost to a really high-level guy as well. I could see he was actually on the Contender Series right after that, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So
no, that's right. Yeah, and they even told us that fight week, basically, winner was going to go to Contender Series.
Oh man, that is you're so close as well, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, that one stung a little bit afterwards because I had to walk to a damn sushi bar in a boot and work for $13 an hour the next week, and then I see Muhammad's on Contender Series. I'm like, damn.
Oh man, this sport is so man, that is rough.
Unforgiving, man.
Unforgiving.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's the MMA slogan, isn't it?
But in a way, though, you could almost look at that as I suppose it's hard to look at it as a positive, but you were literally, you know, so close, and you're still very young in the game, you know, still developing. You know, I'd almost look at it like it's just a matter of time, man. It's just a matter of time.
Well, for me, yes, for me, 100%. But the tough thing is you go home to your family and they're like, oh, are you going to like become a carpenter now or like electric? You know what I mean? They don't fully understand what it is. And I have a son.
They don't want to see you get hurt, man.
Right. They don't want to see me get hurt. Yeah, they want the best for me. But the best for me is to follow my passion, follow my dreams, and see this out, because I've been, like I said, I've been around TJ, I've been around Corey, and I know what I'm capable of. And on that night, I really, truly feel I let the emotion and that whole moment get to me, knowing that the Contender Series was right around the corner. I was literally homeless a month before, you know, with a damn, I think my son was 4 or 5 months at the time. So, you know, when that opportunity popped up, obviously I jumped on it, you know, even though it was only 2 or 3 days notice, it didn't matter to me. Like, I was going to make it happen.
Man,
but
that's tough.
And that's kind of how that came about.
Man, that's tough. Let me also ask you, one of the things I've been curious about is you are a 6'1" featherweight. How, And now you've been putting on mass, like you've been doing a lot of strength and conditioning. How is the weight cut for you? How do you find the weight cutting?
It's not easy, obviously. It is, it sucks. But like I said, I have the best guy in the game that no one knows yet. I want to say he went to school for kinesiology, plus he was an All-American and Olympic lifter. Now he got second at Pans as a blue belt. This dude's legit. Like, he understands, the wrestling. He wrestled in college as well. He understands like the performance side of cutting weight as well as all the diet and stuff. So he really tunes it in for me, and I don't have to do anything but just do what he says and go through the actions, and I get it done.
I know you fought before at lightweight. I mean, is that in your future to be, kind of lightweight contender?
Maybe in the future, but for now I see myself as a 145er. I have some monsters at 155 at my gym. If you guys are familiar with Lucas Clay, he's an up and coming fighter in LFA. I think his record's 8-1. He's a killer, and he's got about like 10 pounds of me. So it's a perfect reality check on a daily basis that he's a lightweight and I am a featherweight.
Man, it's a surprise that 10 pounds makes that much of a difference. But you say every fighter says that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And especially once you hit that level of where inches matter and just every pound matters, man, getting hit by somebody my size versus him is just a whole different ballgame.
Truly is. No, I ask every fighter that I have on the show, I ask them the same question. A lot of fighters, they have their own signature brand, signature tequila, signature whiskey, signature hot sauces. If there was a Josh Augustine brand, what would that signature product be?
We actually got it coming out. My manager and I are dropping a rolling papers company right now here in St. Louis.
Nice.
It's gonna be called Hand Wraps Rolling Paper.
Nice.
That's a great name as well. Hand Wraps Rolling Paper.
Thank you. We're gonna send you guys some.
Dude, oh, that's awesome, man.
Hell yeah, man. Hand Wraps Rolling Papers. And when can we see this on shelves, and where can people order it?
We don't have anything out yet, but we will definitely be blasting out on my Instagram. As soon as we get it out, I will definitely send it to you guys and send you some links and stuff.
Nice. So
we're just getting the ball rolling on it.
That's awesome. Josh Augustine, J_Augie145 on Instagram. Ash, go ahead, jump in there.
Oh no, I was gonna say, man, I'll definitely use those rolling papers, man.
Hell yeah. I love 100%. I love it.
Yeah, and so when you do launch it, come back on the show and we'll do a big plug for you as well, because, man, that's exciting, and that's launching later this year as well. Zoom is going to kick us off here, but Josh, I'm going to give you the last word here. So tell us, where can we find more of you? When can we expect to see you back? And tell us what else we need to know about yourself.
Yes, sir. Like you said, my Instagram handle is J_Augie145. You can find me on Instagram. I'm starting to vlog soon here on YouTube. I'm not sure what it's going to be called, or I don't know the YouTube channel's name yet, but I will be blasting it all over my Instagram. So please come check that out. Hand Wrap Rolling Papers is going to be coming soon. Please check us out. Follow me and at Stacking Bricks. And come find me in St. Louis anywhere from October to November, maybe possibly December. Some people are going to be getting knocked unconscious.
I love it. I love that.
Oh, beautiful. So thanks so much for your time, Josh. Thanks for listening, folks, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.